So I often feel like I accidentally got into techno music because from a really early age I was playing guitar all the time in rock bands, obsessed with John Frusciante, Red Hot Chili Peppers, grunge music, all sorts of stuff. It was only later in life that I started to listen to Paul Kalkbrenner, Mode Selector, and got a lot more into electronic music, also Air, huge fan of them. And it's really funny because back in 2018, I had already been producing for a while, electronic, and I really wanted to be on beat pitch control because of, Mode Selector, Paul Kalkbrenner. And I actually sent beat pitch a Russian doll because I used to use these. I still use them sometimes, but not as much for obvious reasons. But I used to use these a lot more for my logos and stuff. And so I actually sent them a doll with a USB in the middle and a handwritten note saying like, "Hey y'all, I really want to release on your label. Here's some cool tracks." And they got back to me, but didn't want the tracks, and that was that. And so we fast forward a few years later, and now I'm releasing this EP. Well, it's already out. This EP on UFO Inc. So Ellen and I ended up coming together, and it's not beat pitch control, which is what I originally thought, but I'm super stoked to be on UFO and to be working with Ellen on this release. So yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the tracks, and we're in this awesome Gobi Desert right now in Mongolia with a super cool team. And so let's just go ahead and jump into it. So I really love the opening track, Marzon. This is one of my favorite songs I think I've ever produced. And it's super cool because I feel like a lot of my rock influence is coming more to the forefront here. I have some really big kicks and snares, and I'm reminded a bit of Jimi Hendrix and John Frusciante doing crazy feedback on the guitar when it comes to the synthesizer and the opening. And another thing I try to do with my productions is, here's the thing, I don't actually listen to that much techno music, and a lot of my favorite tracks of all time tend to be more of like a journey type of track. Like I think of Pyramids by Frank Ocean, I think of Hummer by Smashing Pumpkins. And I'm really happy with the song structure of this, where we have a few different dynamic parts and then the crazy drum solo. I think it's around 3 minutes and 20 seconds or something. That really fucks people up on the dance floor. And yeah, I think it's cool, and people seem to be enjoying it so far. So yeah, I'm just proud of this one, like I said. And if you like this track, then get excited, because this is kind of more and more of the direction I've been going in. Because one other thing I tell people in terms of how I like to view my own music is, as long as I have a strong low end, like strong kicks and bass, then basically the rest is up to me, and you can do whatever you want. And I think that, to me, that it makes it feel liberating with the production. So yeah, so that's a brief little intro on Marzon, and it's the opening for this EP 123. So Help Me is a track that I made a few years ago when I was still living in Hamtramck, which is a small city inside of Detroit. And I think at this time I was a little bit more in the phase I was in when I made the It's Okay to Cry EP for Mama Told Ya. This one I feel like is a little bit more techno, quote unquote, and I'm pretty happy with it. They're my vocals that I chopped up, and I took a voicemail from someone, and that's chopped up again in a section here. But, I feel like this is kind of reminiscent of It's Okay to Cry a little bit, with some cool new tricks like the chopped voicemail. And it's getting played so far and getting a good reception, so hopefully you enjoy it. And yeah, a little bit dark, to be a little bit, I don't know, it was funny. As I said the words "help me," I knew it was a bit, sometimes it feels overly dramatic, but I don't know, at the same time it sounded cool, so I rolled with it. And those are just the words I was feeling when I said the song. I don't know if I was actually feeling that desperate at the time, but we go into those places sometimes. So yeah, but that's Help Me. It's a little quick rundown of that. So is a fun one. I really enjoy this track. It's pretty simple, but to be honest, I can't even remember producing it. I want to say I produced it super quickly. It's pretty crazy. I feel like it's if you liked the Always EP, then hopefully there's something in this one for you. And yeah, I really love just doing the vocal chops. And I can't remember the name of the track, but it reminds me a little bit of one of the openers of a mode selector track. What is it? I can't remember, but if you listen to Mode Selector, you probably know what I'm talking about. I think it's one of the first few tracks on Happy Birthday or something. But yeah, this is a pretty simple one, banger, 170, and hope y'all have some fun with this one. Which brings us to 123, which is the title track of the EP. And funny enough, I did not want to release this track. I sent it to Ellen a long time ago, and she thought it was super cool. And I thought it was super cool, and I sent it, and then I heard it back. And there used to be this really obnoxious vocal in there that I did where I'll just say it, cacophony! I was literally singing like that. And so when she was like, I really love this track, I was like, you know what? I'm not sure I love it anymore because it's a pretty weird voice. But eventually she really wanted it. So I usually don't force tracks like this because usually I just, usually I try and knock out a track really quickly. And if it's not working really quickly, then I give up because it's just not worth the time. But on this one, she wanted it. So I said, all right, let's go. And I'm actually super proud of the track now. I'm really proud of it. I mean, I always knew it was going to be a pain in the ass to make. Because the original concept was I was thinking of Steve Reich's track, Come Out. And if you haven't heard this track, it's pretty cool. It's an old track, some old minimal thing. I think it's from like the 40s or something. I don't know, double check that. But basically, in this track, he takes a sample and delays it slowly over time. I think it's like 9, 10, 12 minutes or something. Eventually to the point where the vocal, just the simple vocal line turns into this interesting rhythmic concept, and it eventually just washes out into like nothingness. And I thought this was super cool because it helped me it helped me listen to how people talk, because then I started to sometimes think of, oh wow, when people talk they have different ways that their voice goes up and down, because in the Steve Reich song I felt like it was so obviously showing me how the voice can be a rhythmic thing, just a simple line that someone says. And I thought it would be cool if I could somehow make like a more techno dance floor version of this track, because, you know, if you listen to the Steve Reich track, it's dope, but it's almost like academic. That's how I think of it. It's a pretty, like, you put on your headphones, you close your eyes and listen to it. And I was like, if I could somehow take that concept and push it into like more of like a banger format, I just think that would be cool. Because like I said earlier, I try and just get cool low end and then just try and really have fun and explore song structure and cool new ideas. And so I feel like I did a decent job with this. And that's why you'll hear the 1, 2, 3s just getting echoes and echoes and echoes. And I even put a delay on the master at the end and just echoed the living shit out of this track. And yeah, it's pretty cool that Ellen wanted it this much, because like I said, this maybe it would have seen the light of day if it was left to me, but now it has. So hope you enjoy it, and I think it's pretty fun. So yeah, but that's it. So 1, 2, 3 on UFO Inc. is out now. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and thank you so much for checking this out.